Since 1983, FAME has helped business and education work for Maine. Contact the authority, the Finance Authority of Maine. You're watching Maine Biz Sunday, Maine's business news source.
It's Rapid Fire Sunday, which is a chance for our guests to debate some of the recent headlines affecting Maine businesses. Today, we're joined by Curtis Picard, Executive Director of the Maine Merchants Association, Jim Demesis, CEO of Policy One Research, Steve Bowen of the Maine Heritage Policy Center, and Merritt Carey, owner of Grafton Solutions in Portland and coordinator of the Maine Businesses for Sustainability. Welcome to you all. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is we do take some time out every few weeks to try to get a group together and just kind of comb through the papers, see what's happening, talk about them with some of our business and policy experts, and that's you, by the way. Okay, we're going to start out with this one. This one is dealing with retail sales and consumer confidence. Is this going to be a naughty or nice Christmas season, I guess? I'm going to throw this one to you, Curtis. The NFIB, the National Federation of Independent Businesses, their Business Optimism Index is up for 3 months in a row now, so that's good. However, they say, quote, it's still ugly out there, but less so by a significant amount. I love those guys, how they can use ugly and significant improvement in the same sentence. So what do you think is going to happen about, and I know the consumer confidence really drives the economy, so what do you think is going to happen in Christmas and then beyond, for that matter?
I'm going to put the holiday retail sales on the nice list this year. I think after the past 2 years, where last year was virtually flat and the year before that was actually down about 1.5%, overall retail sales year over year for the last 10-year average has been about 4 or 5%. So we've been off track now for 2 years. I think the signs are there that this holiday season we're going to see up.
What are the signs? What kinds of things would you guys look at?
We looked at container traffic coming in August and September, and that was up about 10 or 15%. We look at just the overall mood. I know the unemployment rate continues to tick down little by little, and that's a good sign. Nationally, the National Retail Federation is predicting that this year is going to be up 2.3%, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say we're actually going to be a little bit better than that.
Okay. How about others? Going to join him on that limb? What do you guys think?
I wouldn't jump in with a percentage, but I think we'll be up a little bit, certainly over last year. And yeah, on Main Street, sort of word on the mouth, I think there is more confidence.
He said that unemployment rate's ticking down slightly. I mean, it's just really stubbornly at that mid 9.5. I think that drive. How does that affect consumer confidence?
Well, I think the other issue is, as we're taping this, gas has just tipped over $3 a gallon. That concerns people. You know, when you see that 2 come down and that 3 go up, I mean, that affects people, and it affects their thinking about how much money do I have to spend on the holidays. And
certainly locally within Maine, there's a lot that's unknown with the transition of the government. People are, some people are optimistic, other people are concerned, but that in general creates an air of, I don't know what my future looks like, therefore I'm going to be more conservative.
Well, it's a new government. Everything's going to be better. I mean, right? Okay.
Well, I do think it'll go a long way to people's confidence if at the end of the holiday season, and it was up, and maybe up higher, that starting 2011, it's going to be a good start.
You're the trend guy. What do you see?
I understand the importance of looking at consumer confidence in retail, but my bigger concern is the unemployment and the job growth and startup companies longer term. Yeah. So the question is, can we translate some upticks in consumer confidence to job growth, firm growth, and job expansion later on in the economy? And I still see that as slow.
Okay, yeah. So we'll take some of your cautious optimism and go spin. Okay, I'll do my best. All right, issue number two, business tax reimbursement programs. Are they a good investment? Study's been done has been done by several state agencies that the legislature commissioned, and they looked at tax breaks, tax credits, and exemptions, and compared them to the overall state spending, basically, and really to look at those also and see, are they making any effort? Are they good tax breaks, good tax exemptions, or should they be eliminated? The Finance Commissioner, Ellen Schneider, said programs ranging from business equipment tax reimbursement programs to various tax credits to provide tax breaks to as few as 5 taxpayers should be targeted for regular review. She adds that several studies raise doubts about whether any of the various tax incentive programs anywhere in the country provide the tipping point that results in business locating in Maine. So, Steve, I'm going to start with you. What do you think? Is this about this policy? What do we do with all this?
Well, I think she's right that we don't know. I mean, we support a lot of business attraction programs. OPEGA, which is the legislative's investigative arm, did a study a couple of years ago where they said they went through the list of all of these different economic development programs, and nobody really knows. We don't know how many jobs are created. So, like everything in state government, I think we need to look very, very carefully at these programs and make sure that we're getting some return on the investment. And I don't think anybody who's in favor of looking at tax burden thinks that there's some kind of tipping point if you put the right tax incentive package together, that's going to attract businesses. Well, I think what we hear from businesses is a lot of concern about regulatory environment, a lot of concern of just uncertainty, not knowing what is the legislature going to do this year that might make it harder for me to run my business or start a new business.
Were you surprised about the amount of money that was involved here? I mean,
Yeah,
it's $1 billion in tax breaks more than the state actually spends.
Right. But that, I mean, to be fair, that amount includes all tax breaks.
Right.
So it's the fact that you don't pay sales tax on groceries is included in that. The home mortgage deduction is included in that. So the way Augusta looks at things is, if we're not taxing you, that's an expenditure to us. That's money we don't have.
Right.
So you got to think in terms of the way Augusta thinks about these things.
Right.
Okay.
I just would jump in by saying I do think we need to go beyond just looking at them. They have been looked at before, and I actually think it's time to scrap most of the programs. I don't think they're providing the benefits, and the other problem is there's a lack of perception on those that are receiving the benefits that they truly are receiving the benefits. That in many cases, the businesses don't know which ones they're actually getting or which ones they're eligible for. So I would start to focus those programs on those that increase capital investment or relate to job and workforce training, because those things are there regardless of whatever happens to a project or whatever happens to a company.
Well, what's an example of one that should go away? Can you think of one?
Yeah, the ones that are really narrow towards specific industries for boat building or for specific the very narrow tax credits that benefit one industry. The pine tree zones would be another. We went from very narrow definition of geographic areas of pine tree. We expanded that definition. I don't think businesses
That's one
truly
businesses
appreciate.
can actually point to, and actually at the end of the year they can actually
At this
rack
point,
up the tax credits.
at this point, though, we've expanded it so much that you're just simply better off lowering the tax rates for everybody across the board.
Simplification.
Exactly.
All right, others? What do you think?
I agree with Steve. I mean, it goes back to the whole regulatory environment and what, for our members, there's a lot of different things that they get involved with that, could be moderated going forward.
Yeah.
I think looking at the tax breaks that work makes a lot of sense, and I think tax incentives are a tool in an arsenal of tools that need to be used to attract businesses to Maine. I mean, you talk to anyone that tries to get businesses to come to Maine, and they're going to tell you it's really, really hard work. So clearly, what we've got set up isn't doing the job. But I don't think to lay the burden of attracting businesses to Maine only in the tax incentives, that's too narrow a scope to view it in.
Right. I agree with all of that. We're going to wrap this segment right there. We're going to come right back, so stay tuned. We'll be right back with the next set of issues. We're going to be talking about the Forbes list and reading the tea leaves in Augusta. Stay tuned.
Maine Biz Sunday is brought to you by Bangor Savings Bank, where you can enjoy free ATMs worldwide.